A U.S. state is poised to redraw voting boundaries that critics say stacks the deck in favor of U.S. President Donald Trump's Republican Party. The controversial plan for Texas could win the Republicans 5 more seats in next year's midterm federal elections. Democratic Party rivals are opposing the proposal. All right, Shihab Rattansi joins us now live from Washington, D.C. Shihab, why is Texas redrawing its electoral map, and what implications could this have on future elections?
This all really starts here in Washington, D.C. This is a process spearheaded by the Trump White House. It's clear that they do not want to lose the House of Representatives in the 2026 midterm elections, the federal House of Representatives here in Washington. Not necessarily because they want to pass any more legislation, but because if the Democrats do get control, and it's going to be a tight race, then they have the ability to have all sorts of committees, all sorts of investigations into the Trump administration with subpoena power, the power to call witnesses on you name a topic here, and potentially even move towards impeachment again. This is something the Trump administration doesn't want to do. So they're leaning on various states with Republican majorities to redraw their electoral maps to ensure a Republican advantage. Texas is first. And look, and then we're watching the debate and they're saying, look, I mean, there's nothing wrong with this. The Supreme Court says we can do this. We're not breaking any laws. The Supreme Court says we can do this for nakedly partisan reasons. The Democrats, however, say, look, it's so obvious you're redrawing these districts based on racial lines to dilute minority votes that this goes against federal civil rights legislation, and we will sue perhaps eventually to the Supreme Court. So it's not over yet, and once the House votes in a few hours, then the Senate still needs to ratify it in Texas, and then it needs to be signed by the governor. But it does seem to be, that process seems to be unsolvable at the moment, but there will be legal ramifications.
And Shihab, there are indications that this vote in Texas may lead other states to do just the same. My question is, has an electoral map drawing war started now in the United States?
Those are the indications. So California, led by the Democrat Governor Gavin Newsom, is taking the lead here. Says, all right, then we are going to redraw California's maps for +5 Democrat seats, and the California legislature are going to vote on that on Thursday. But it's more difficult for the Californians because they have an independent electoral commission that oversees redistricting to prevent gerrymandering, to prevent trying to redraw electoral maps for political advantage. So this, if the Californian legislature now passes a +5 Democrat map, it will have to be passed in a state referendum this November. And it's not entirely clear that all Democrats are on board with the idea of saying we're fighting for principle and we're going to fight for that principle by breaking the principles in our own state. It might be a difficult fight to have, but there are other Democratic states too, like Illinois and Maryland. However, the math is in the Republicans' favor. The Trump administration
Shihab,
is also leaning on Indiana, Missouri, Florida. Yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. We're just seeing a line crossing now saying that the Texas House has approved that Trump-backed congressional map to give Republicans more seats on Capitol Hill. So I just wanted to mention that because you're talking about how that vote was taking place. Please go ahead.
Well, you're always first with the news, as we know. So that's it. So that was kind of inevitable. They had the votes, and that's why one of the reasons why the Democrats even left the state for a couple of weeks to prevent even a debate, but they did come back. That was inevitable. And this is going to be the first shot really fired in this coast-to-coast war now, which the Republican states do have an advantage on, of redrawing the maps to try and ensure a Republican victory in the midterms to retain the House, though it's still not a foregone conclusion even with the redistricting.
All right, that's Al Jazeera's Shihab Rattansi joining us from Washington, D.C. Shihab, thanks for keeping us up to speed. I'm sure we'll be coming back to you for more developments in the coming hours.
Don't miss out. Get a full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news, expert insight. Like, share, stay ahead.